The little girl approached the massive bikers slowly, tears streaming down her face. 5 men in leather, covered in tattoos, drinking coffee before their morning ride. Terrifying to most adults. But 7-year-old Emma was more scared of the walk to school. "Sir," she whispered to the biggest one, "can you walk me to school? I'm afraid." The biker Bear, president of the Iron Riders, stared at this tiny girl asking for protection. His hands started shaking. She reminded him of someone he'd lost. "Yeah, sweetheart, we'll walk you." He had no idea that simple yes would change everything. Emma Rodriguez was 7 years old and terrified. She lived with her mother Maria in a rough neighborhood in Riverside, California, where gunshots were background noise and drug dealers claimed corners like territory. Maria worked night shifts as a nurse, good money but bad hours. She left at 10 p.m., returned at 8 a.m. after Emma needed to be at school. So Emma walked alone, 3 blocks, 7:15 every morning, to Lincoln Elementary. Those 3 blocks were hell, gangbangers on corners, dealers working, violence simmering. Emma kept her head down, walked fast, prayed. Most days, nothing happened. But the fear was constant. Paralyzing. Emma developed stomach aches, nightmares, anxiety. "Mama, I'm scared," she'd say. Maria's heart broke. "I know, Mija, but I have to work. We need the money. You're brave. You can do this." Emma tried to be brave, but she was 7, and the world was terrifying. Tuesday morning, something happened. Emma witnessed a gang fight. 2 groups, knives, blood. She froze, terrified. When it ended, she ran. Arrived at school shaking, crying. The counselor called Maria. "Mrs. Rodriguez, Emma's traumatized. She needs support. Can you adjust your schedule?" "I can't. Single mother. Night differential pays our rent. If I switch shifts, we can't afford to live here." "I understand, but Emma needs help." Maria felt helpless, trapped between survival and her daughter's safety. Wednesday morning, Emma couldn't do it. Stood at the door, paralyzed with fear. "Mija, you have to go to school." "I can't, Mama. I'm too scared." Maria was desperate. "Okay, I'll walk you. I'll be late to bed, but it's okay." They left together, past Murphy's Diner, local place where bikers gathered before morning rides. 5 motorcycles parked outside. 5 men in leather vests drinking coffee. Iron Riders MC, local club. Reputation for being hardcore but fair. Kept to themselves mostly. Emma saw them. Normally, she'd be scared. Big men, tattoos, intimidating. But today, desperation overrode fear. She pulled away from Maria and walked toward the bikers. "Emma, what are you doing?" Emma approached the biggest one, 6'4", probably 280, full beard, arms covered in ink. His vest said, "Bear, President." "Sir?" Emma's voice was tiny. Bear looked down, saw this little girl with braids and a pink backpack, tears in her eyes. "Yeah, sweetheart? Can you and your friends walk me to school? I'm scared. Bad people scare me. You look strong. Can you protect me?" The diner went silent. 4 other bikers stared. Maria rushed over. "I'm so sorry, she shouldn't bother." Bear held up a hand. His eyes were locked on Emma. Something in her face, the fear, the bravery it took to ask, hit him hard. "You're not bothering me." He knelt down. "What's your name?" "Emma Rodriguez." "I'm Bear." "Why are you scared, Emma?" "The walk to school. Bad people. Fighting. Guns. I saw a fight yesterday. Blood. I can't walk alone anymore. I'm too scared." Bear's jaw tightened. "Where's your school?" "Lincoln Elementary. 3 blocks. "And you walk alone?" "Mama works nights. She's tired. I don't want to bother her." Bear looked at Maria. "You work nights?" "I'm a nurse. I have to. We need the money." Bear nodded. Understood. Single mother, doing her best. Impossible situation. He looked at Emma. Sweetheart, I'll walk you to school. Today, right now, me and my brothers. You won't be alone." Emma's face lit up. "Really? Really? Nobody's gonna hurt you. Not while we're around." The other bikers stood. Tank, Diesel, Wrench and Reaper. All nodded agreement. "Let's go, little one," Tank said. "School time." They walked, 5 massive bikers surrounding one tiny girl. Emma held Bear's hand, her small fingers disappearing in his calloused palm. Maria walked beside them, crying silently. Strangers helping her daughter when she couldn't. People stared. Gang members on corners saw the bikers and melted away. Dealers disappeared. The Iron Riders' presence cleared the streets. At the school, Emma hugged Bear. "Thank you. You made me feel safe." Bear's voice was rough. "You're welcome, sweetheart. Any time." They watched her go inside. Then Bear turned to his brothers. "Emergency meeting. Clubhouse. Now." At the Iron Riders' clubhouse, Bear addressed 30 assembled members. "This morning, a 7-year-old girl asked us for protection, to walk her to school, because she's terrified, because she walks alone through hell every day, and because nobody else is helping her." He paused. "Her name is Emma. She reminds me of my daughter, Sarah, who'd be her age if she'd lived." The room went silent. Everyone knew. Bear's 5-year-old daughter had died in a car accident 8 years ago. Drunk driver. Bear had never recovered. "I see Sarah in Emma. Same age, same fear, same need for protection. And I'll be damned if I let another little girl suffer when I can help." Tank spoke. "What do you want to do?" "I want to escort her every day to school until she feels safe, but not just walk her. I want a statement. I want every gangbanger, dealer, and criminal in that neighborhood to know this girl is protected. Touch her, you deal with us." "How do we make that statement?" 45 bikes, tomorrow morning, full escort. From her door to school, rolling thunder visible, undeniable, message sent. Wrench nodded. "I'm in for Sarah, for Emma, for every kid who's scared." "All in favor?" 30 hands raised, unanimous. "Good, we ride at 7 a.m. Bear called Maria that evening. "Mrs. Rodriguez, this is Bear from this morning. I need to ask you something." "Thank you again for helping Emma. She talked about you all day." "That's why I'm calling. Emma needs consistent protection, not just me walking her once. She needs to know she's safe, every day. The Iron Riders want to provide that." "I don't understand. Tomorrow morning, 45 of us are riding to your house. We're escorting Emma to school. Not just walking, escorting, motorcycles, formation. Statement that she's protected, that anyone who threatens her answers to us." Maria was speechless. "Why would you do this? You don't know us." "Because Emma asked for help. Because she's 7 and shouldn't be terrified. Because I lost my daughter and couldn't protect her. But I can protect Emma. Will you let us?" Maria cried. "Yes. Thank you. Yes." Thursday morning, 7 a.m. Maria and Emma opened their door, gasped. The street was filled with motorcycles. 45 Harley-Davidsons lined up in perfect formation, 2 rows creating a corridor. Each rider standing beside their bike, silent, respectful. Bear approached Emma. "Good morning, sweetheart. Ready for school?" Emma stared, overwhelmed. "All these are for me. All for you, because you asked for help, and we don't ignore kids who need us." He held out his hand. "Let's go." Emma took it. They walked between the rows of bikes, every rider saluting as she passed. Honor guard for a 7-year-old. At the halfway point, the bikes started. Simultaneous ignition, 45 engines roaring, deafening, powerful. They rode slowly behind Emma. Protective wall, nobody getting through. Neighbors came out, staring. Gang members watched from corners, stunned. The Iron Riders were making a statement. At Lincoln Elementary, teachers and students watched this procession arrive. 45 bikers escorting one small girl. The principal, Mrs. Chen, approached carefully. "What's happening?" Bear explained. Emma was terrified walking to school. Gang violence in her neighborhood. She asked for protection. "We're providing it every day until she feels safe." Mrs. Chen was moved. "That's incredibly kind." "Not kind, necessary. Every kid deserves to feel safe. Emma didn't. Now she does." Emma hugged Bear. "Thank you. I wasn't scared at all." "Good. That's the point. See you tomorrow morning, sweetheart." The bikers left, but the message remained. Emma Rodriguez was protected. Word spread fast. Local news covered it. Biker gang escorts terrified girl to school. The video went viral. 45 Harleys, one tiny girl holding Bear's hand. Comments poured in, most supportive. "This is beautiful. Real men protecting children." We need more of this, some criticized. Bikers are criminals. They're intimidating. But those were drowned out by support. The Iron Riders continued. Every morning, full escort. Emma never walked alone again. After a week, something changed. The neighborhood felt different, safer. Gang members disappeared from Emma's route. Dealers moved elsewhere. Violence dropped. "They're scared of you," one neighbor told Bear. "Your presence cleaned up the block." "Good. Kids shouldn't navigate war zones to get education." Other parents approached. "Can you escort my child too? She's terrified." Bear gathered the Iron Riders. "We've got requests from other families, other scared kids. What do we do?" Tank answered. "We expand. We can't help one kid and ignore others. That's not who we are." "Agreed. Operation Guardian Angel. We escort any kid who needs it, rotating shifts, volunteers only, nobody forced. But we make this commitment. No kid walks alone if they're scared." 17 kids ultimately enrolled. Iron Riders escorted them all. Different shifts, different routes, comprehensive protection. The program drew national attention. News outlets featured it. Bikers protect terrified children. The Iron Riders became unexpected heroes, but Bear deflected credit. "We're just doing what anyone should do. Protecting vulnerable people." Emma asked for help. We said yes, that's basic humanity. 6 months into the escorts, Emma had transformed. No more nightmares, no more anxiety. She smiled, laughed, thrived. Maria couldn't thank Bear enough. "You gave me my daughter back. She was drowning in fear. You saved her." She saved herself. She had courage to ask for help. That takes strength most adults don't have. The Iron Riders' impact extended beyond escorts. They started patrolling the neighborhood, not aggressively, just presence, visibility. Crime dropped 30%. Gangs moved operations elsewhere. Dealers found new corners. The neighborhood began healing. Residents noticed. For years, we begged police for help. They'd patrol once and leave. "You guys stay. You care. Thank you." The Iron Riders established a community center, free after-school program, tutoring, meals, safe space for kids. "If we're protecting them getting to school, we should protect them after too," Bear reasoned. 50 kids attended daily, supervised by volunteers, bikers, parents, teachers. It became a haven. Emma was there every afternoon, doing homework with Bear's help. He wasn't educated formally, but he was patient and encouraging. "You're smart, Emma. You can do anything. Don't let anyone tell you different." "Will you be my dad?" Emma asked one day. Bear's heart broke. "Sweetheart, I'd be honored. But your Mama says you're like a dad already. You protect me, teach me, love me. That's what dads do." Bear looked at Maria, who was volunteering. She smiled, nodded. "Then yes, I'll be your dad. Not officially, but in every way that matters. Deal?" "Deal!" Emma hugged him. Bear cried. First time in 8 years since Sarah died. At 1 year, the program had helped 34 children. Crime in the neighborhood dropped 50%. Test scores at Lincoln Elementary increased. Attendance improved. The mayor honored the Iron Riders at a city council meeting. "You've done what government couldn't. Made a neighborhood safe, gave children hope, proved that community action works." Bear accepted the recognition humbly. "We just answered a little girl's request. Everything else followed. Emma started this. We just supported her courage." Emma, now 8, spoke at the ceremony. "I was scared every day. Then I asked bikers for help. People thought I was crazy. Bikers are scary. But I learned something. Scary-looking people can have the biggest hearts. Bear and his friends saved me. Now they're saving lots of kids. Thank you for believing a 7-year-old deserved protection." The crowd stood applauding. Grown adults crying over this child's bravery and the bikers' response. At 2 years, the Iron Riders expanded. Operation Guardian Angel now in 5 cities. Different chapters, same mission, protect scared children. Over 200 kids escorted daily. Crime down in all neighborhoods, communities healing. Bear was interviewed by national media. "Why do you do this? You're volunteers. No payment, just commitment." Because Emma asked. And saying no to a terrified child is an option. She needed protection. We provided it. Then other kids needed it. We expanded. It's simple. See need, fill need. That's community. Some call you heroes. We're not heroes. Heroes are kids like Emma who find courage to ask for help. We're just adults doing what adults should do, protecting children. That's basic, not heroic. At 5 years, Emma was 12, confident, happy, safe. She volunteered with the Iron Riders now, helping younger kids feel comfortable. I remember being scared, she told new kids. These men look tough, but they're gentle. They'll protect you. Trust them. Bear watched her work, pride overwhelming. She's incredible, strong, compassionate, everything Sarah would have been. Maria approached. Bear, I need to ask you something. Emma wants you to adopt her. Officially. She wants you as her legal father. Bear was stunned. Are you sure? I'm sure. You've been her father for 5 years. This just makes it official, if you want. I want, more than anything. The adoption was finalized when Emma was 13. She became Emma Rodriguez Carson, Bear's legal daughter. At the hearing, Emma addressed the judge. Bear isn't my biological father, but he's my real father. He saved me when I was 7, protected me every day since, taught me strength, loved me. Biology doesn't make family. Love does. Bear loves me. I love him. That's family. The judge approved. This is beautiful. Mr. Carson, you've been given a precious gift. Cherish it. Every day, Your Honor, every single day. At 20 years, Emma was 27. Social worker, following Maria's legacy, working with at-risk children. Operation Guardian Angel had helped over 10,000 children. Crime dropped in every neighborhood with programs. Lives changed. Futures secured. Emma spoke at the program's 20th anniversary. 20 years ago, I was terrified. I asked scary bikers for help. They said yes. That yes changed everything. Not just for me, for thousands. Because one act of protection inspired more protection. One act of courage inspired more courage. That's the ripple effect. Small acts creating massive change. She looked at Bear, now 73. Dad, you taught me that protection is everyone's responsibility. That seeing vulnerable people and acting is basic humanity. That scary appearances hide generous hearts. Thank you for seeing my fear and responding with love. Thank you for being my father. I'm who I am because you chose to help. Bear stood applauding his daughter, proud beyond words. The Iron Riders continued. New leadership, same mission, protecting scared children, creating safe communities, all because one 7-year-old found courage to approach 5 scary bikers and ask for help. All because one grieving father saw his lost daughter in a stranger's face and chose to protect her. All because saying yes to a child's plea for protection created transformation rippling through decades. That's the power of small voices asking for help. That's the power of strong people saying yes. That's the power of community protecting its most vulnerable. Emma proved it. Bear honored it. The Iron Riders live it forever. One escort at a time, one child at a time, one act of protection, creating safety for all. At 30, Emma stood at Lincoln Elementary, now renamed Emma's Hope Elementary, in recognition of where the movement began. She was principal. The school that had once housed terrified children now served as a model for trauma-informed education. 23 years ago, I walked through those doors shaking with fear, Emma told the assembly of 500 students and parents. 45 bikers escorted me that first day. They showed me protection, safety, love. Today, this school embodies those values. Every child here knows they're protected, valued, safe. Bear, now 76 and using a cane, sat front row. Pride radiated from him. His daughter had become everything he'd hoped. Operation Guardian Angel had expanded internationally. Chapters in 8 countries. 15,000 children escorted daily. Crime reduction averaging 45% in participating neighborhoods. The model was studied by criminologists, educators, and policymakers. Community-based protection works, one researcher explained. When visible, consistent presence protects vulnerable populations, crime decreases, and communities heal. The Iron Riders proved this. But Bear deflected academic praise. We just said yes to a scared kid. That's not complicated. People make it complicated. But it's simple. See need, fill need. Maria, now 63 and retired, volunteered at the school daily. Emma and Bear saved each other. She gave him purpose after Sarah's death. He gave her safety. That exchange created everything you see today. Emma's own children, twins Isabella and Marcus, age 5, attended Emma's Hope Elementary. They knew their grandfather's story, understood their mother's origins. Grandpa Bear saved Mommy, Isabella told classmates, from bad people. Now we help save other kids. The twins participated in junior volunteer programs, age-appropriate activities teaching community protection values. By 5, they understood service. At 32, Emma received a MacArthur Genius Grant, $625,000 for her work developing trauma-informed community protection models. She donated the entire amount to expanding Operation Guardian Angel. I don't need recognition. The work needs funding. Kids need protection. This money serves them better than me. The grant attracted more attention. Emma was invited to speak at the United Nations, Community Protection Models for Vulnerable Children. Her speech was powerful. Governments struggle to protect children in high-crime areas. Bureaucracy, funding limitations, and inefficiency create gaps. Community organizations like the Iron Riders fill those gaps. They're nimble, committed, and present. They don't leave when shifts end. They stay because they care. My story isn't unique. Millions of children worldwide walk dangerous paths to school. They need protection. Communities can provide it, not through government programs, through direct action. See Scared Child. Provide escort. Simple, effective, transformative. The Iron Riders showed me this. A 7-year-old's request became global movement because they said yes. That's all it takes. Saying yes. Standing ovation from representatives of 193 countries. At 35, Emma faced a crisis. Bear's health declined rapidly. Heart disease. Doctors gave him months. Emma spent every available moment with him. Dad, you can't leave. I still need you. Emma, you haven't needed me for years. You're strong, independent, successful. You'll be fine. I'll miss you. And I'll miss you. But I'm ready. I've lived fully, saved you, raised you, watched you become extraordinary. That's enough, more than enough. You gave me everything. You gave me back my daughter. Sarah died, but you filled that hole. Let me be a father again. Thank you for that gift. Bear passed 3 weeks later, surrounded by Emma, Maria, the twins, and 50 Iron Riders. His last words to Emma, protect the vulnerable, always. That's our legacy, yours and mine. I will, Dad, forever. Bear's funeral drew 5,000 people, Iron Riders from across the globe, children he'd protected, now adults, community members, officials. Emma gave the eulogy. My father, because that's what he was, biology be damned, saved me when I was 7. I asked scary bikers for help. He said yes. That yes changed everything. He spent 28 years protecting children, creating safety, building communities. He did it because one little girl reminded him of the daughter he'd lost. He chose to save me. In saving me, he saved thousands. Dad, thank you for seeing my fear, for responding with love, for being my father, for teaching me that protection is everyone's responsibility. I'll carry that lesson forever. Every child I help is honoring you. 5,000 people stood, saluting, honoring, grateful. Bear was buried with full honors. His headstone, Jack Bear Carson, father, protector, hero. He said yes to a scared child and changed the world. 5 years after Bear's death, Emma stood at the 40th anniversary of Operation Guardian Angel. Now 40, she directed a global network protecting 25,000 children daily. 40 years ago, I asked my dad for help. He responded with 45 motorcycles. That response created this, She gestured to the crowd of 10,000 gathered, a movement proving that community protection works. Maria, 68, added, "Bear saw his lost daughter in Emma. That recognition motivated everything. Personal loss transformed into collective healing. That's Bear's legacy, turning pain into purpose." The Iron Riders had evolved. New leadership, Tank now president, 72, but still riding. Bear built this foundation. We're maintaining it. Every escort, every child protected. That's honoring Bear. The program had produced remarkable data. 40 years of operation. 250,000 children directly protected. Crime reduction, averaging 50% in participating neighborhoods. High school graduation rates increasing 35%. College attendance up 40%. Community protection creates stability, one sociologist explained. Stable children succeed. The Iron Riders provide that stability. Results are undeniable. Emma's twins, Isabella and Marcus, now 20, had joined the movement. Isabella was social worker like her mother. Marcus was Iron Riders member. "Grandpa Bear's legacy is our responsibility now," Marcus told the anniversary gathering. "Third generation protecting vulnerable children. That continuity matters, shows sustainability." Isabella added, "Mom was protected. She protected thousands. Now we're protecting thousands more. That's how transformation persists, each generation carrying forward." At 45, Emma published a book, The Yes That Changed Everything, How Community Protection Transforms Lives. And it detailed her story, Bear's response, the program's growth and replicable models. The book became required reading in social work programs globally. Emma donated all profits to expanding escorts. "Bear taught me generosity multiplies. I'm living that lesson." At 50, Emma received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, highest civilian honor, presented at the White House. "Emma Rodriguez Carson represents the best of America," the president said. "Courage to ask for help, community willing to provide it, transformation through action. Her work has protected hundreds of thousands, created safer communities, inspired millions. She embodies service." Emma's acceptance speech was humble. "I'm accepting this for every scared child who found courage to ask for help, for every adult who said yes, for my father Bear who started everything. This medal represents them, not me. I'm just carrying forward what they began." At 55, Emma slowed down. Health issues, decades of intense work taking toll. She transitioned to advisory role. Isabella became program director. "Mom built this," Isabella told staff. "We're sustaining it, expanding it, honoring her vision." Emma remained active, mentoring, speaking, guiding, but the daily operations shifted to the next generation. "That's natural," Maria told her. Now 78, Maria volunteered when able. "You built infrastructure, now it runs itself. That's success." At 60, Emma stood at Lincoln Elementary, now celebrating 60 years since her first escort. She was frail, walking difficult, but mind sharp. 53 years ago, I was terrified, a 7-year-old girl facing violence alone. I asked bikers for help. They said yes. That yes created everything you see today. 300,000 children protected, safer communities worldwide. Proof that saying yes to vulnerable people transforms worlds. She looked at the assembled crowd, 5,000 people whose lives had been touched by Bear's decision to help one scared girl. Bear's gone, but his legacy lives through every escort, every child protected, every community healed. That's immortality, not living forever, creating work that does. At 65, Emma passed peacefully. Heart failure, quick, surrounded by family. Her funeral drew 10,000 people, Iron Riders from 40 countries. Children she'd helped, now adults with their own children, officials, celebrities, ordinary people whose lives she'd touched. Isabella gave the eulogy. "Mom was 7 when she asked bikers for help. That courage changed everything. She spent 58 years paying forward what Bear gave her: protection, safety, love. She protected hundreds of thousands personally, inspired millions more. That's her legacy. Mom taught me that fear is normal, but asking for help is brave, that community responds when asked, that saying yes transforms. She lived those lessons. Now we carry them forward. 10,000 people stood, saluting, honoring, grateful. Emma was buried beside Bear. Her headstone, Emma Rodriguez Carson, protected child, protector of thousands. She asked for help and taught the world to answer. 20 years after Emma's death, Isabella stood at the 75th anniversary of Operation Guardian Angel. Now 65, she'd led the program for 30 years. 75 years ago, my mother asked my grandfather for help. That request created a movement protecting over 1 million children globally, reducing crime in thousands of communities, proving that community action works. She held up a photo. 7-year-old Emma holding Bear's hand, surrounded by 45 motorcycles. This image represents everything we do: vulnerable child, protective community, safety created through action. That's our mission, forever. Marcus, now 65 and Iron Riders national president, added, "Grandpa Bear said yes to Grandma Emma. That yes echoes through generations. Every child we protect honors them. Every community we heal continues their work." The program had evolved, technology enhanced, better training, more efficiency, but core mission unchanged: protect scared children. Results remained remarkable. 75 years, 1 million children directly protected. Crime reduction averaging 55% in participating neighborhoods. Countless lives transformed. The data is overwhelming, one researcher concluded. Community-based protection works. The Iron Riders proved it. Their model should be universal. But Iron Riders stayed humble. "We just said yes to a kid," current members explained. "That's all. Nothing complicated. See need, fill need. That's community." 100 years after Emma's first escort, her great-great-granddaughter, also named Emma, age 7, attended Emma's Hope Elementary. She knew the story, understood her legacy. "My great-great-grandma was brave," young Emma told classmates. She asked scary people for help. They weren't scary. They were protectors. Now we're all protectors. Helping scared kids. That's our family. Young Emma walked to school with Iron Riders escort. 4th generation of the family, protected by the organization her great-great-grandmother's courage had created. Full circle, observers noted. Emma's legacy protecting Emma's descendant. Beautiful symmetry. The Iron Riders agreed. That's the point. Creating systems that sustain, protecting indefinitely. Emma started this. We're ensuring it never ends. 150 years after the original escort, Operation Guardian Angel protected 5 million children globally, present in 120 countries. Crime reduction averaging 60% in participating communities. The program had become institution, studied academically, replicated universally, recognized as model for community-based protection. But its heart remained simple. One scared 7-year-old asking for help, one grieving father saying yes, one act of protection creating infinite ripples. Emma's courage asking for help. Bear's compassion, responding with action. The Iron Riders' commitment sustaining protection. Communities' willingness to invest in vulnerable populations. That formula transformed millions of lives, created safer communities, proved that small voices can change worlds when strong people listen. Emma proved it at 7, lived it for 65 years, taught it to millions. Bear honored it, built infrastructure around it, died knowing his yes had created permanence. The Iron Riders maintain it, generation after generation, member after member, escort after escort, because vulnerable children will always need protection, because communities can provide that protection. Because saying yes to scared voices transforms everything. That's Emma's lesson. That's Bear's legacy. That's the Iron Riders' mission. Forever. one escort at a time, one child at a time, one yes at a time, creating safety, building community, transforming worlds, all because a 7-year-old found courage to approach scary bikers and ask for help. All because those bikers said yes. Sometimes that's all it takes. Courage to ask, compassion to answer, commitment to sustain. Emma asked. Bear answered. The Iron Riders sustained, and millions of children found safety. That's the power of yes. That's the power of protection. That's the power of community. Forever and always, never forget it. Because every Emma deserves her Bear. Every vulnerable child deserves protection. Every community can provide it. If we just say yes. Emma proved it. Bear lived it. We continue it. Forever. One scared child at a time. One protective yes at a time. One transformed community at a time. That's how we change the world. Emma taught us. Now we teach others. The cycle continues, the protection endures, the legacy lives forever.